Hey, what's good, y'all? I haven't done one of these in a while, largely because I've been on Facebook arrest. So I'm gonna do one now. This is part two of Tales from the Bandstand. This is a little video serial thing where I talk about shit that I've seen or come across or have done in my time as a working musician. Some of the stories are funny, and some of them are sad, and some of them are angry. But it's just a general way for me to go, hey, this shit happened, and it was kind of funny when it did. Um, so, about, I guess it would have been about 7 or 8 years ago now. I was still teaching music full time and had a lot of students come in and out of my door, and every so often I'd get one that had some real talent. And when that happened, I always went the extra mile. You know, if I found somebody who really had the gift, that thing, whatever it was. Um, I'd always put in a little extra time. I wouldn't charge the parents, that kind of stuff. I'd give them opportunities to play on stage, just over and above what I was getting paid for. And for a while, I had a student that definitely fit that bill and then some. I'm not going to name any names or try to give out too many details because I could probably get in trouble for this, but um, I had this particular student who demonstrated that clearly there was a unique talent for that instrument. So I would give a bunch of extra time to this student over and above what the parents were paying me for. They were paying me for 30 minutes a week, once a week, uh, every month, and they were paying me by the month. So it slowly turned into being more like, as opposed to 30 minutes a week, it turned out to be more like an hour and a half to 2 hours a week, that kind of thing. And this particular student was fairly young, around 12 or 13, as I remember correctly. And after about a year, this particular person uh, demonstrated enough talent, enough ability, both on the technical aspect and in the theoretical aspect, that I was like, you know what, this person needs to fly. They need to be given an opportunity. So I presented two opportunities to this person. And at this time, like I said, 13, 14 years old, somewhere around that. Actually, three opportunities to this person. And one was playing in a cover band that I was already in. It wasn't my band, but that band needed this particular slot filled. And I suggested, hey, why don't we try out this person? And the response was, yeah, we'll try this person out, but you don't get a vote in the final decision as to whether they do or don't make it. I said, that's fine with me. So we did the audition, and obviously this person passed with flying colors, and everybody unanimously said, yeah, that's the person. Let's bring that person in. So this person at the age of 13 got their first professional paying gig, and it was a consistent paying gig at that. It was a steady thing. They got that at the age of 13. I also drafted that same person to play in my classic rock cover band at the time, which was starting to pick up a little bit. We weren't getting paid quite as much, but we're starting to make a little bit of noise. And I also took this person into a professional recording studio for the first time in their life. So all this happened by the time this person was like 13, 14 years old, right? Things kind of didn't end well with one of the bands, and that person, along with a couple other people, split. Um, Largely, what happened was it had to do with the parents uh, feeling like they had a say in the band when you don't. I mean, yeah, you have a say as to where your kid's going to be and what they're going to do, but when it comes to choice of material and arrangements and stuff like that, no, you actually don't. It's my band. So there was a little bit of a falling out. A number of people left. Uh, didn't talk to this person for a couple years when I had been asked to come back to the first band to fill in for a couple gigs, and this person was still playing in that band. So we reconnected at that point after having not spoken for about 2 to 3 years. And everything seemed cool. Like, what on? Okay, fine. We ironed out our differences. Everything's good, right? Fast forward another couple years, it's now COVID time, we're all in quarantine, and I'm working on an album, right? And within the course of that album, I said, wouldn't it be a good idea if I had all my friends come in and lay down some guitar tracks? So I started formulating the idea. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this guy and that guy. Everyone's going to come in and do a piece of this thing. And I just wanted, my album to be this kind of celebration of me playing with all my friends. So I called this particular person. I was like, hey, I'm doing this record. I would really like to have all my friends and former band members and current band members and everything come in and lay down some tracks on my original material. Can I get you to come in and lay down a couple tracks? Response was, nope, not interested, thank you. And that kind of took me back a little bit. I'm like, really? Nope, not interested, thank you. After all the time that I gave you for free, after all the doors that I opened for you to walk through and get your start playing music, you're not interested in coming in for a couple hours and laying down a track or two on my album. Unfortunately, in this business, you run across this a lot. There are people out there who just have absolutely no sense of loyalty and no sense of gratitude whatsoever. And unfortunately, in this case, I ran across one of those people. And even more unfortunately in this case is it was somebody who got their start because of me, because of time that I donated and doors that I opened. So there was really no sense of like, hey, I kind of owe this guy. Maybe I'll drop in there and do this, right? I can tell you for a fact that the guy that gave me my start, that opened the doors for me when I was getting started as a professional musician, I haven't seen him in over 20 years and haven't spoken to him in about 5 years, if I remember correctly. But if he called me tomorrow and said, hey, Jay, I need you to come up here and help me lay down some tracks on this thing or whatever, I'd drop everything I was doing and I'd be on a plane the next day, because you don't forget where you came from. Unfortunately, in my case, I couldn't instill that in this particular student, and it turned out the way they did. It is what it is, I guess. It still stings, but what are you going to do? Stay tuned for the next installment of Tales.